Welcome to the Summit School District Spotlight. My name is Mickey Grebitz. I am the Communications Specialist at the district, and today we'll be talking about the dual language program. Joined with me today we have Kendra Carpenter, a principal at Dillon Valley, and Joel Rivera, a principal at Silverthorne Elementary. So, Kendra, how long has Dillon Valley been part of the dual language program?
So this is our 14th year doing dual language. We started investigating it in 2003-ish and spent a couple years researching, looking at experts, bringing along the community, and then we started in 2005.
Great. So what is dual language?
So there's different models out there. Our model, we're a 50-50 model, meaning half our day is spent in English, half our day is spent in Spanish. All content is taught in both languages, and we work to have as close as we can of a balance to 50% native Spanish speakers, 50% native English speakers, and then teachers of both those languages as well.
Great. What does the dual language program look like at Summit School District? And what are the goals of the program?
So dual language has three primary pillars, we call them. Wanting kids to graduate bilingual and biliterate. We have high academic achievement in both languages, as well as sociocultural competence. And those are kind of just fancy ways to say we want all the kids to graduate reading, writing, speaking, listening in English and Spanish. Obviously, we're teaching to the same standards as all the other schools, and we want them to be high achievers, but in both languages, as well as really advocating for all languages in our community and making everyone feel welcome and having that responsibility, kind of that global mindedness that pairs really nicely with our IB program.
Great, thank you. And Joel, your school is Silverthorne Elementary, and this is the first year that the dual language program will be at Silverthorne L. Tell us about your program.
So we started off Kendra talked about a couple years to prepare for it. We actually piggybacked on a lot of success Dillon Valley had. So going back to the research that they did, and then we were tasked with trying to find the best instructional programming for Silverthorne. And so we had an instructional programming work group that came out of the North End Advisory Committee a few years ago. And so we did have a group that met, we probably met a few times in the spring, discussed our population, what works best with our students, and we decided that dual language would be the best, and also just looking at the success that Dillon Valley had. So we decided to start in kindergarten, first grade, and almost models exactly like Dillon Valley has with a 50-50 model. We have right now we don't have the numbers to support as many teachers as Dillon Valley has, but we do have a Spanish teacher and English teacher in kindergarten, first grade. And then we also look, when we did hire, and we hired a music teacher that also from this one, all three of them are from Spain, but we hired from Spain as well to help deliver that, to get the balance of Spanish and English to 50-50 as close as possible. And so we do have kindergarten, first grade with this delivery model, and we're going to look to add one each year until 2023 when we'll have a full school.
Great. So as the first graders move to second grade, there'll be a dual language class for them next year as well. How have you seen the shift in culture or impact to the school? Because before it was not a dual language school.
I think the first thing that we saw as a shift was, one thing that we were kind of tasked to do was to have programming that was enticing to our community and to our families. We did have, last year we had 193 students that were in our boundaries choose to go to other schools. The majority of them went to Dillon Valley, and then a large portion went to Frisco, and then a smaller to Summit Cove. So we wanted to have that programming that's going to, excite our community, and dual language is one of the ones that we decided to, again, going off the success that Dillon Valley had and the people from the county going there. So we were, the biggest change we saw is, we were projected at 33 kindergartners, and I think today we're at 52. So that's huge when you talk about 20 extra kids. The exciting thing about it was we didn't take away from any other schools in terms of numbers, so that's really great to see, because we didn't want to do it at the expense of another school. But when you have that excitement coming in, especially in kindergarten parents, it's their first experience, in a lot of them in public school, and then they're excited about this new program. So there's just a ton of excitement that has come in kindergarten, especially in first grade as well. with this new program and the fact that you have parents that are mainly Spanish speaking, that they come in and they feel at home, they feel welcome. They right away, from the teachers to other staff that we have, is great. And then you have native English speaking families that come in saying, gosh, my kid's going to be fluent in Spanish by the time they leave. I mean, that's exciting. I had 3 kids go through Dillon Valley. One of them's in 4th grade right now. And so, to hear them, I attended a presentation at Dillon Valley in 4th grade for one of the projects they did, and she did it in Spanish. It was the first time I heard her speak in Spanish, and it was just amazing. So our families have that opportunity now, and so do our students. It's great.
Yeah, I think the dual language program at the schools are very exciting, and I think all the families that do it love that they're learning both English and Spanish, and I think it sets the students up for success in the future in general. What successes and benefits have you seen at each of your schools with this program?
I mean, the list is long and varied for sure. Some of the things that Joel's talking about that he's seeing now at Silverthorne, we're seeing that at Dillon Valley. Years ago when we started, we had a really unstable community and people were moving in and out. We've seen some more stability come in. We've seen more participation in our school and families coming in, and even little things like they come in and have lunch and they feel welcome. And so no matter where the family is from, they feel welcome in our school. And we have some students that don't speak English or Spanish as a home language, but we still do a lot to honor the mother tongue and make them feel special. And we've had families say things like, I had to leave my country, but I didn't have to leave my culture. Mm-hmm. So that says a lot about what a dual language program can do for people and get them involved, because we all know, the more parents are involved in their kids' education, mm-hmm. the more successful they're going to be. And that's our ultimate goal, is success for our kids, as well as just opportunities down the line. Our first class just graduated last year from the high school, and just things they're talking about and doing and experiences they had because they're bilingual are really amazing. And a lot of our Latino families too now are finding ways to go on to higher education and having these opportunities because of things through the program that carries on through high school. So that's pretty
great.
Exciting.
Yeah, very exciting. What have you seen at your school?
Yeah. Well, I think the first thing I would say, and I mentioned it when you asked the first question, was just the fact that families are excited about Silverthorne and programming that we're offering has been awesome. And then the welcoming that our families feel on both sides, native English speaking, native Spanish speaking coming in. The way that those families are connecting has been amazing. I think in the past it's, we probably weren't in the position Dillon Valley was in, 14 years ago, I think she said, this year. And so to see those families connecting in a way that they haven't been able to do for a very long time since our population started changing and our demographics started shifting has been awesome. The one thing I noticed right away, especially at the unique perspective of seeing the class from kindergarten that was just in regular programming and in an English speaking delivery, so to speak, to see that kid now, or a kid that was in that, and to go into 1st grade. And when I went into the Spanish speaking class and observing in the first few weeks, to see kids that didn't speak English as kindergartners coming in, not participating, still trying to get into field, learning the language, and that took some time to see that start right away, where it kind of flipped it. So you have different roles for kids now, especially when they first started in like the Spanish classroom, to be able to respond, to be able to help, to be able to, they're the mentors now for the language. It was awesome. And the way that we did it in 1st grade, to see that flip midday to where they moved from the English room to the Spanish room, to see now it changes roles for those kids. I just think that was a pretty cool dynamic to see that I hadn't really witnessed before. So that's probably like the 2 biggest benefits, like seeing kids thrive that normally took some time to get there, and then also seeing families just connect right away because they have a shared goal of like the 3 pillars that Kendra was talking about earlier. We all have that now, and so it's just been a really awesome opportunity for them.
And I think that's one thing any dual language program hopefully offers, is what we call, it's an additive program, right? So it's not just to the benefit of any group, and without both groups there, the program's not successful. So it's really welcoming, and like Joel was saying, right, everyone gets to be an expert at some time during the day, because everyone is a language learner. So that's just really something positive for our community.
Very exciting. Do you guys have any specific examples from what you've seen in your schools or in the classrooms?
Like I talked about with the students, to see those different students stepping up, to have the opportunity to do so, obviously is one. The things I've seen, the families that come out, that start to come out to want to be a part of this, have been awesome. So we've had various resource nights. We've had different groups that are, especially from like our Latino families, part of different like dance groups, or different, Day of the Dead celebrations is a big thing for some of these cultures, and so wanting them to be a part, and so coming in and doing those presentations, art, music, dance, and providing that opportunity for our kids who grew up in a different culture that don't really have it at that level, or that way of celebrating. So that's been really awesome to see our kids be involved with that. And then you have the English speaking parents that they know about it, but they have never really been immersed in it, and all of a sudden we're all together doing that. With more understanding of culture comes increased levels of respect, better interactions, and as we start to increase in grade levels, to have a whole school feel like, because when you walk in the Dillon Valley, and like I said, I've been a parent there, I've been involved with Dillon Valley as a parent for 9 years now. My oldest daughter's in 8th grade, and when you walk in there, you feel it. Like you feel that connection between families. You feel that that mutual goal of the teachers wanting those 3 pillars to be achieved for our kids. It's everywhere you look. It's everything on the walls. It's in the classrooms. It's in the discussions. The barrier of a language isn't there anymore. It's amazing to see, and I just can't wait till our school is full of that. It's going to be awesome. So those 2 things have been really eye-opening for me and great to watch.
Yeah, very exciting. What about at your school? Do you have any specific examples?
Yeah, I would agree with what Joel says too, and I'm sure it'll happen at Silverthorne more over time, but thinking about parents, special events that we do, like in the beginning of the year, we have an event called El Grito, and it's originally started to honor the Mexican Independence Day, and now, a lot of our parents are from Costa Rica and Guatemala and El Salvador, and we used to do all the planning and work, and now they've taken it over, and they make sure all these countries are represented, and they make all the food, and it's just a big, fun family event. So just to see that they're comfortable to say, hey, back out of the way, we got this, we're taking it over, is amazing. And then that filters down as our parents are interacting more, right? Our kids are interacting more and not thinking, well, I'm not going to be that person's friend because I can't communicate, or things like that they all know, and building those teams, and it just breaks barriers. And I've seen it in how kids interact and think about things. My own personal children too, when we travel, they're not shy, and they're like, what language are they speaking? What do you think are kinds of food they like? So they just have this global awareness and curiosity that builds over time, because we're always thinking about that at our school and trying to bring in different cultures and highlight it through our teaching. So it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is really exciting. And I've been to El Grito and then your resource and Dia de los Muertos night this year, and it was just really exciting to see, like you said, the global awareness and just kids getting along because they're kids and they're excited about each other's culture, and to really take part in something else. And I think that kind of global awareness is really cool to give our children, to carry through the rest of life. Kendra, can you talk about what the vision of the dual language program looks like overall?
The vision is really based in the 3 pillars that we talked about before, but having kind of a K-12 continuum. Middle school, high school isn't a 50-50 program. The students are offered 2, I think maybe 3. Tessa will talk a little bit more about the high school as they move through, but at least continuing to grow that bilingualism and continuing to offer opportunities to all students in the program, so that when they graduate, they've completed those 3 pillars and they're successful, and they go on to give back to the community and the world, and we're hoping a lot of them decide to come back and teach.
Yeah, that would be very exciting.
Yeah.
Joel, what does it look like for next steps for Silverthorne Elementary?
Well, like I said earlier, adding the 2nd grade, moving forward. We talked about, just in our dual language committee, just our school dual language committee, is how do we, better reach that 50-50 model? How do you do that with hiring is always a struggle to hire quality teachers that are bilingual. So how do we get those teachers and recruit teachers to keep them? So, as we add those would be great. I also, I do want to note that adding another elementary school to this, at the end of the day, when we're kind of full school, we'll have about half of the district's elementary students between Dillon Valley and Silverthorne. So that opportunity for our kids as they move to the middle school and high school, it just creates more resources. It creates more, sections that they can add, more books, materials, new curriculum, whatever that is, as they move forward and have the resources to provide that. So I'm excited about that. But I think, right now we're just pushing forward with K1 and we're like at the basic starting part of this. So looking at second grade next year, third grade the following, and move forward, but and try to add as many, specialists, music, PE, art, all those other specialists that come in so that kids can be immersed as much as possible in that 50-50 model would kind of be our next steps. The district's done a great job of providing professional development for us, and we've sent teachers to conferences in New Mexico. We have one coming up, the Colorado CABE, I think it's called. So we can send people there, and I see that happening quite a bit. We've had the opportunity to see some experts in dual language instructional models as administration with teachers. So that's been really great to see, just increasing the knowledge and awareness and of our teachers. And so that's been really cool, having coaching opportunities, mentor opportunities. We've connected a lot with Dillon Valley and then, other schools kind of in our area. Eagle has 6 of their 9 elementary schools are dual language. Wow. So we do have a lot of resources in the area to help improve our program.
Very exciting, yeah. What's next for Dillon Valley?
We're just always working on getting better. Since we started, when we originally started, there wasn't a lot of research about dual language, and so now there's a lot more. So we're always working to make our program better, and with Silverthorne starting too, we've had some opportunities we haven't had in the past, and working with some experts like Jose Medina has been here twice, and so we're just digging in and working. We'll struggle from the same things in terms of hiring and training teachers, but luckily we've got a good base of teachers that are consistent and have stayed and always help take on and mentor our new teachers, and it takes a lot. It's a lot of work and time consuming, but we love it. We wouldn't change it.
Very exciting. Well, congrats on all your successes and successes in the future. And
Thanks.
Joel, we're really excited about the program at Silverthorne, and just looking up to Dillon Valley is kind of the big brother school, and I think it's really cool that, and the schools geographically are really close to each other as well, so both of those kind of have like the same community in that area of the district. And I just want to thank you both for your time today and your expertise and just loving on our kids, and just really excited that you both are at our schools. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. And thank you guys for being here and watching and learning about our dual language program at our schools. In the next segment, it will be in Spanish, and we'll be joined by a couple of our elementary school teachers and our assistant principal at the high school. Stay tuned.